ideas which gorgeous George over here, no, Mr. Tzortzis. Tzortzis. I've been to Istanbul and I'm trying to learn Turkish, but Tzortzis, Mr. Tzortzis. It's okay. Do you speak ancient Arabic, by the way?
I could read and do a bit of grammar.
A bit of grammar. You don't speak it then?
No.
So your presumption that it's beautiful ancient Arabic is just a presumption. You actually don't know what you're talking about.
No, it's not.
Okay.
I'll respond
Okay. I just wanted to ask that question because I don't speak Turkish. I wanted to see if you spoke ancient Arabic. Well, I just want to ask, do you speak ancient Arabic?
Yes, I do.
Fluently?
No, but I do speak it.
Okay, but not fluently.
كيف حال?
Take a more clear example.
You're straw manning my
Say
positions.
you're a homosexual man.
Yes.
And you have sex with another homosexual man. Should that be subject to punishment?
In the private home, it's outside of the Sharia law. If they did it in public, which doesn't even happen where you're from, then there's a different story.
What would the Do you know what causality means? You use the term.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, if you use a term, you should know what it means.
yes.
Okay,
I have my
you use it.
definition. I have my definition.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll define, and that's cause precedes effects. Does that sound good?
No, that's the wrong definition. In my
Okay.
opinion.
Well, I'd like to learn what it is.
Well, for example, there's an interesting book about the quantum physics and causality. And the philosophers and philosophers of science and scientists have disagreed on a specific definition. So they've reduced back to a fundamental definition. Do you want to have a chat or
okay,
a chat?
good. You quoted a book on physics.
Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't finished yet.
Physicists don't disagree about the definition of causality.
Have you presumed your results here? Do you
No.
really want to connect with me as a human being?
No, but
Well, you've asked me a question, you're answering it for me? I mean, come on.
you quoted physicists. Go on.
I said scientists.
Okay.
Now, which is the same, I agree. Now, so from my limited knowledge, and I do believe it is limited, of course, is that the agreement has been on something which produces an effect, which includes, therefore, you can have something called asymmetric spontaneous causality. So we could discuss causality until the cows come home, but it's not as simple as what you're trying to say. The point I'm trying to say, Professor Krauss, is that I think it's only fair if you want to pick and choose from the Fox News narrative that you actually trying to change that stance and say, right, what does Sharia law say? Do you have a book of Sharia law at home?
I asked you so I could learn.
No, but you were telling me. Do
No,
you
I
have a
asked
book?
you.
Okay, do you have a book on Sharia law?
No.
And you
Because
make
it's based on
judgments,
nonsense.
and okay, I have a book on atheism. I think it's based on nonsense.
Great.
But I give you the intellectual epistemic respect to read your worldview. But you've come here
my book is a book on
blasé.
atheism. It's a
Sorry,
book on science.
you've come here blasé, almost arrogant. I don't want to judge you, and saying, it's all rubbish. I'm not going to take any of his arguments. I know better than you, which you said that, and I do agree in physics you do. And you've come here making judgments on Sharia law. You don't even have a book on Sharia law.
That's why I asked questions. I repeat.
And the point is...
Look, I'm sorry. That's why I asked questions. I asked you questions so I could learn. I asked what you thought
Yes.
as someone whose opinions I'm supposed to respect. And I wanted to know.
Yes.
Did you think it was wrong? And I wanted to know why. There's no sense why homosexuality is wrong. I wanted to know what common sense tells you that homosexuality is wrong, except some self-proclaimed prophet telling you with no evidence.
There's a different point. Okay. Okay, let me ask Professor Krauss a question. Why is incest wrong?
It's not clear to me that it's wrong.
Okay.
It's clear to me. There's an evidence. No. Listen to me. Listen.
So, see, this is precisely the point I'm trying to make, Professor Krauss, is that I find it quite interesting. Someone who adopts an atheist position would have strong moral judgments about a religious tradition, whereas your moral judgments, at best, are relative and subjective. Now, when you look about moral theory, from an Islamic perspective, in a religious perspective, you see that objective morals, that even pointing the finger and saying, you're wrong, you're nonsense, Sharia law is backward, these kind of strong emotive things, I think we can only be that emotive and strong in an objective sense if you have God as a grounding for your objective moral values. Now,
Well, the presumption is after t equals 0, you require time. That's absolutely true. The presumption that you require time at t equals 0, if you took the equations as they're written,
No.
Time would go out the window.
I don't have a contention with the physics. That's your job.
No, but there's no. Yeah. But if you take it as written, there's no time. The time has no meaning at t equals 0.
Okay, agreed.
Great.
According to the physics, I don't disagree with you. I highly respect that. But all of that is inductive in nature.
No, it's not.
Of course. What is it based on? Is it deductive?
It's based on observation.
Which is inductive.
No, it's empirical.
Okay. The point I'm trying to say is that the word ruh etymologically shares the same meaning with the word raha, which means liberty and so.
What's a soul? You want to tell me what a soul is?
Well, when you die, you'll find out. Let me just get my point. State of slavery, because your birth, sir, your birth, madam, is just like the American writer once wrote. We're born and then we're sold into slavery. You never chose your birth.
Well, it was Rousseau who said that. Man is born free and
lives
forever.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well done. Good. So let me get poetic here. Yeah.
Okay.
So the point is, we don't choose our birth. I didn't choose I was going to be Greek, looking like a Pakistani. You never chose a.
If you shaved, you wouldn't look so Pakistani.
Well, you know, I'm growing my hair just like yours.
Okay.
So,
it's true.
It's nice.
That's right.
So the thing I'm trying to say.
Your hair, by the way.
Thank you. We're becoming friends now, yeah. So
you're absolutely right. Also, to the fact that I want to stress one more time that science, and I may slightly differ with my friend Richard Dawkins about this. I don't think a lot. Science does not require atheism, and the proof of that is empirical. Since I believe empirical proof, I have several colleagues of mine who are very good scientists who aren't atheists. Therefore, since they're very good scientists and they're also not atheists, science doesn't require atheism.
Why would I therefore use an empirical inductive method to form beliefs that I believe are certain? That would be obnoxious of me. So what I do is, if I believe something is so certain as the existence of the divine and the miraculous nature of the Quran, I'm not going to use an inductive method which is speculative and probabilistic, which you would even agree ranges from 0 to 99%. I would have to rely heavily on what you would call other methods, epistemic routes to knowledge, such as deduction.
And are they sensible?
Well, they are sensible. Okay, scientism is, let me define it for you. It is the assertion that science is the only way to form conclusions about reality, okay? That statement itself is, one, self-defeating, because science can't prove that statement. Secondly, science itself, that statement itself is flawed because science can't prove mathematical truths. Also, it can't prove ontological truths. It can't prove moral truths, historical truths.
You're not covered up. You're not put in a bag like some of the people back there.
Well, it's not really a bag.
No, it is.
Yeah?
As far as I'm concerned, it is.
Okay, look, that's a different question. I'm not going to get into the moral judgments from certain traditions, because at the end of the day,
and by the way, they're all only Islamic. I mean, if you want me to offend other religions, I'm happy.
No, I'm not saying that, Kraus, but someone who is rationalizing incest doesn't have no more high ground to point the finger at Muslim women. I mean, and the other point, to say I don't think the key premises of my argument were addressed, and I think it shows the veracity of Islam from that perspective, because if it was so wrong and so rubbish and so nonsensical, we would have had a strong counter-argument from that perspective. But this is going to be unaddressed until the Day of Judgment, I believe. But I think what we all have to learn is that, you know what? We can sit on a table, we can speak together, we may be angry and rhetorical. And by the way, I so apologize if I offended anyone, especially Professor Kraus. I did say things that I shouldn't have said for a highly respected, academic like himself. So we have to humble ourselves for his achievements, and some of the words I used were not appropriate, even though they may have sounded nice rhetorically, but that's a different issue.